I grew up in church, so church to me was, something you always did. I was going to a Baptist church at the time, but for people that don't know, it's really difficult when you're not equally yoked. It's hard, and I would go to church 2 Sundays and miss a Sunday, and then drag the kids and go 1 Sunday and miss a Sunday. So I was not as into it as I should have been and wanted to be, because the weekends are pretty much family time, and I would spend it going to church, and Ken would spend it watching football or doing whatever, fishing or something. So it was complicated. It was hard. Even though building Abundant Life is a very tasking thing, it has been hard to do. It's fun. We're having a great time doing it, but I don't think we could have survived it had we both not been on the same page in our marriage with Christ. I don't think it would have worked out, because it is tasking.
One of our first private meetings, one-on-one with Pastor Dalco, he had said something to me that I had never heard before, that because I was always intimidated by church. And one of the first things he told me is that God's he's gonna take you along this path. He's gonna be there with you, and he's not gonna skip you over nothing. You're gonna walk the path. Well, I was baptized for the very first time, and it meant a lot more to me than anybody in there could have known. It's working. It's working. I have no doubt at all that Abundant Life they'll be celebrating 100, 150 years anniversaries, no doubt. We won't be there, but they're going to be celebrating.
Yeah, I think it will do well.
Starting my second year now in Blanket, having been assigned there a year ago, and I'm coming back to a really exciting church. We're having stability and growth, and for a number of years they did struggle, and not doing anything real fancy or anything like that, but just bringing them the good news and letting them know of how much God loves them, and our obligation as Christians too, to then share that love with others. The community in itself is 400 people, and the church is averaging about 30 in worship every week. The thing that really struck me the most in the Cedar Park area, where right now there's a population of 20,000, with the potential to be 60,000 people there, and no Methodist church, and there we were in a community of 400 with our own, so to speak. It was really easy to lend that example to them and say, we really do need to support the Methodist Church so that there will be place for other people to come and to worship and to hear the good news. The monies that are provided in our tithe portion not only will go for new church, but then for college campus ministry as well, and taking care of as much as the dollars will go. A neat example too, a lot of small churches may wonder, kind of like we did, thinking, well, a tithe factor on a yearly basis is going to be only $400 or $500 because of our small budget. But yet we have scriptural basis that the disciples faced the same challenge with the loaves and fishes, and in Jesus' hands fed 5,000. So we feel confident that whatever monies come in from the small church, that God will take care of it and bless it, and it'll be multiplied more than we could ever imagine.
I said, she's, where's it at? And I said, it's in the cafeteria of a high school. She said, I don't know about that.
Because I was raised Catholic and used to the big cathedral and the whole shebang. So when we went to Community of Hope, it was like I just was expecting it, And I think I've said to people that I was thinking, a cafeteria, how are you going to find God in a cafeteria? And that's my good way of explaining it. But since the cafeteria experience, I find him everywhere. I find him in my utility room, I find him in the car, on the lawnmower, just you name it, he's there. So cafeteria or a gymnasium, or it doesn't matter. Church is the people and the experience you feel and the warmth you get from it.
We just stopped going to church for a while, and until Bob asked me to come to COH a year ago, we were not going to church, and we very much needed it. And then the experience of a year ago finding out that she had cancer. We were on vacation, and she had known about it before we went on vacation and decided not to tell me or bring it up till we got back. So about 2 days after we got back, she says, I've got a lump in my breast. And about the same time, that Sunday or so after that, we started going to the church.
I think we had attended a church about 3 weeks prior to that, and just continued to go, and even through my illness, through all my chemo and everything, I don't think we missed but a handful of Sundays.
Just
at
when
church.
she had major surgery.
Yeah, or was really sick, and was very rare, because it got to be where we have to be there. We want to be there. The warmth, you feel that they genuinely care about you. This family has prayed for you, and they care. They reach out and want to be part of it. They just want to experience you. And we've met wonderful, wonderful people through that. Other people that have had similar, circumstances and family members or whatever. So you find a kind of a relationship there with those people. People always say to you, when you're in a crisis, everybody runs to church. I mean, it's something what you do. And I said, well, if cancer is what made us run to church, thank God. If that's got me there, I'm there.
We're having a better life together, just me and her too. And I don't know, it's a combination of the cancer and the church. But we say I love you many times a day, whereas we didn't used to do that. We've been married 38 years, and I think our marriage has been renewed also, and just like our renewal with the church. Really, this is the first time in our lives that we've really committed ourselves to a church, and we're happy being there.
One never really knows where God's going to call them. But a year ago, I was asked to pastor the church there in Bardwell, and I listened to God for a long time before I finally made a decision, and I've really enjoyed it. Been very fulfilled in the local community there. At first, I was actually against the idea because I never really caught the vision of how that was going to help the Bardwell United Methodist Church. And when we had the called annual conference, I actually voted against the proposal. But at some point, I asked myself, is there something beyond what we have in Bardwell? And it occurred to me that when Christ gave us the Great Commission, He was calling us to have the world as our sanctuary, and to have the world's people as our congregation. And we can't address the world until we address our own communities, our community churches, and our Central Texas Conference. And we have so many areas that we just have not yet reached in the Central Texas Conference. And people who are really having a hunger for Christ. And I think that's where we're called to be right now.